One Piece manga chapter 925. Now, I don't even know where to start with this chapter. This chapter was so insane because we essentially got a lot of the stuff that we wanted. The Reverie was an arc that a lot of people felt betrayed because it was too short. This is kind of reminiscent of the Reverie. Now, this chapter seems to be more like one of those transitional chapters we get after every arc, whereas we get to see other characters in different places in the One Piece world. That's the vibe I got off of this chapter, and usually those chapters are always amazing. But the difference here is that we're still in Wano, and I don't think we've gotten this much information from one chapter alone, because there is a lot that can be said with this chapter, and this is a prime example of the insane amount of buildup that Oda has accumulated for the longest, and then we're starting to see the results of that coming into effect. Again, Wano, based on what I've seen so far and from what has been said, is definitely an arc that I think will be key to the events that's going to happen afterwards. Now, Act 1 of Wano was pretty good, and Act 2 is having an amazing start. So I'm definitely excited for the next upcoming acts, and we're supposedly getting a lot of drama and action in this act, so things should definitely start heating up. But let's start from the beginning and take this insane amount of information step by step. Now, before we get into this video, drop a like and subscribe if you're new here. Now, the chapter starts off with Mihawk and Perona. Again, always great to see Mihawk, and we learned that Moria has started to resurface, and that was mentioned in the newspapers, which is why Perona is leaving Mihawk to go check up on Moria. And we also know that Moria was pretty much the individual who raised her ever since she was a child, and she followed him ever since then. So there is a family type relationship there. That's why she was adamant to go to Moria. Now, beforehand, after Marineford, it was stated that Moria had actually died. So all this time she didn't know that he was still alive, and even then it was heavily hinted that Absalom saved him from Doflamingo, but obviously this was something that only us as readers knew about. Now, interestingly, Mihawk did say that it was a probably good idea for her to leave because something was stated to have happened during the Reverie, and one of the information that was revealed was that the revolutionaries had clashed with Fujitora and Greenbull in the attempt to save Kuma from the Celestial Dragon. This was something we knew about ever since Sabo and the commanders infiltrated Maridrob, but we do know Bonnie was there as well to free Kuma, so she might have helped them given as they have a common goal. Now, the big question here is, did the plan actually go through? Because the Reverie was packing a lot of powerhouses. Not only was Fujitora and Greenbull there, but also Rob Lucci and other members of the CP0. Now, it was kind of hinted that Dragon was there as well, but it seems like he had a different role in all of this. So maybe Dragon used that as a diversion to accomplish his plan to declare war on Celestial Dragons, or maybe them fighting against Fujitora and Greenbull was the declaration. So more than likely the plan was successful, but them escaping was not going to be as easy because Maridroa is essentially the epicenter of the government. Again, Bonnie probably played some role in this as well, but I definitely think Dragon did more than declare war. I think he encountered either the Gorosei or Imo-sama along the way. So the things that were mentioned in the newspaper was probably just one part of what actually happened. It's always like that with the newspaper. It's never the full story when it comes to the newspapers. Now, the other news was probably the abolishment of the Shichibukai system, which is why I think Mihawk was wary about in this chapter, because we know that Fujitora did have a conversation with Cobra and Riku to bring that up in the Reverie. Plus, we know that Vegapunk has created something that could replace the Shichibukai system. So Mihawk, sooner or later, he's probably going to be a rogue pirate once again. So that's going to be interesting moving forward. But yeah, Fujitora and Greenbull fighting against the revolutionary commanders must have been a crazy clash. Again, it was off screen like usual, but this is to be expected, and this is something that's definitely gonna aggravate a lot of people in the community, because I think everyone wants to see what happened during the clash. It's not something you see every day. We then move on to Blackbeard. Now, this was a shock because I was not expecting to see Blackbeard anytime soon. But we got a massive revelation when it comes to Blackbeard. Now, the biggest one is his bounty, which was stated to be 2.2 billion berries, which is pretty damn far away from Luffy's bounty. And for Luffy's bounty to rise to that level, he has to do something insane before he can even go to the 2 billion berry mark, because it's harder for bounties to rise after a certain number. And from this, we can sort of estimate where the other Yonko's bounties are. Now, Blackbeard more than likely has the lowest bounty, given as he joined the ranks of the Yonko fairly recently. Then I think Shanks is probably next, then Big Mom because she's been a pirate for a long time, and finally Kaido because of his track record of him basically going up against the Marines and other Yonkos. Plus, he also has the title as the strongest creature. Kaido might actually have the second highest bounty in One Piece, second only to Dragon. And we finally get to see Blackbeard's post-time skip design, which was something Oda was teasing for the longest. Now, we had a glimpse of how his beard was going to look, which was hinted through his Denden Mushi when Burgess called him during Dressrosa. and he's looking more and more like the actual real life rendition of Blackbeard. Obviously he has a new attire and has his Jolly Roger symbol on his bicorn. All in all, he looks pretty dope. He looks like an actual pirate. Now Moria comes in looking for Blackbeard because his subordinate Absalom arrived on the island several days ago. Now if you remember, Absalom was the user of the Suke no Mi, which was showcased during Thriller Bark. Now this power is currently in possession of Shiryu, which was used to attack Moria during the encounter. So it's pretty much confirmed that they killed Absalom to get his ability. Again, this is something that has been foreshadowed about how Blackbeard's crew is actively hunting down Devil Fruit users to make his crew stronger. Now we also learned that Katarina Devon has a mythical 9-tailed fox Devil Fruit ability that lets her change her appearance, and that's probably one part of the fruit's ability, and that's pretty much how Moria was lured. Now I was a big fan of Shiryu having the diamond Devil Fruit, which was a huge theory in the fan base at the time because of what Das Bones said to Zoro during Alabasta, and also because it's a really powerful Devil Fruit when you think about it, on top of, you know, Shiryu being a swordsman. So him having the invisibility fruit was unexpected. I thought he was going to have something more offensive, but we'll see how that plays out. Now Blackbeard did tell Moria to join his crew, and more than likely he's going to join, because if he doesn't, all the commanders are going to kill Moria then and there for his Devil Fruit ability, and this may ultimately lead way to Moria giving Blackbeard some information about Kaido, because we know that Moria was defeated by Kaido sometime in the past, and with this I could see Blackbeard showing up to Wano and things escalating from there. Right now I feel like Blackbeard is waiting for the right moment to strike. He's waiting for these parties to fight it out, and then he comes in the last second. Flashbacks to Marineford and how he handled things back then. Now we're not sure if he can actually eat a third Devil Fruit, but I wouldn't be surprised. Then we'll move on to Act 2 of Wano. It starts off with Inuarashi and Ashura Doji clashing. Now even though Inuarashi is missing one of his legs, he was pretty much on equal terms with Ashura Doji. Now obviously the plan here was to recruit Ashura to join the alliance to help take down Kaido, but it seems like it's going to be difficult because Ashura was only loyal to Odin. But what I think is going to happen is that Luffy is the person that would ultimately bring him on their side, because Luffy might remind him of Odin. Plus he recognized that Luffy has conquerors just like Odin. And we finally get the reveal of the Queen and King Calamity, which was kind of shocking because I didn't think Oda would show them this early. And these guys are huge. They're just as huge as Jack or even bigger. And this basically confirms the theory of how the Calamities were based on cards. Now shout out to Brago the Ace. He made a theory on what the other Calamities were going to represent, and he was more or less right on the Queen and King's title. And this also confirms that Jack is the weakest Calamity, given how he was scolded by these two guys. But that doesn't mean Jack is weak, because that's going to be overblown at this point. You know, Jack is trash and stuff like that. Jack's not trash. These guys are just stronger than him. Now the Queen looks a lot like the silhouette we saw before, but it seems like he was given the task to break the spirits of the people that they captured. And if you notice, there's like a mechanical part that he's tampering with. That could be Kid's arm, because King did say Queen was unable to break their spirits, and that's really pointing towards Luffy and Kid at this point. Now Queen's title is called the Plague, and I'm thinking it's probably some type of poisonous zone. Personally, I think this guy has a Scorpion Devil Fruit ability, but we'll see how that plays out. And he seems to be a Okama, so this might be a potential matchup for Sanji, possibly. Then you have King the Wildfire, and you can tell that this guy is the Katakuri of Kaido's crew. He appears to be some sort of swordsman because he has a sword. Now what he is exactly, I'm not entirely sure, but he might be some new race that we haven't heard about yet, because he has fire coming out of his back and he also has wings as well. Not sure if those are natural or fake, but this guy is definitely going to be special just based on his design and him having the King title. Yo, this is the next Katakuri, maybe. But yeah, this was an amazing chapter. We got a lot of information that we can talk about for days, so this is obviously a 9 out of 10 for me. Again, this felt like one of those transitional chapters we get during the post events of an arc, and so I do wonder if we're actually going to get something like this at the ending of every act in Wano, showing us what's happening outside of Wano. And if that's the case, then that's going to be amazing, because as things progress in Wano, we're also going to get information about the current state of the outside world, given as, you know, Wano is secluded. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. How do you guys feel about this chapter, and what implications do you think this has moving forward? Comment down below what you guys think. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe for more One Piece content on this channel. It is Pharaoh, and I will see you folks later. Peace.